have put up with your bullshit for the last 3,000 years, and I am done!
I don't know what you're talking about.
Done! You listen?
I don't know what you're talking about!
I am happy, okay? Finally, I am happy!
Look at me! I don't know what you're talking about! I hate to burst your little crazy lady bubble, but it must not have been all that great, because I don't remember you.
Call me crazy. One more time.
Cuckoo.
Finish him.
Better not hit me with that truck.
Mary wins. Truckality. We're gonna have fun with this thing.
We've seen Will Smith fighting alien scum plenty of times before, but now it's his turn to take a shot at being one. This is a new take on a superhero film, in that the creators came up with the premise on their own. There is no Hancock comic book to base the movie off of, so they have free reign to do whatever they want. And what we get is a foul-mouthed drunk superhero. So, in the past, we've had reoccurring themes in movies to see if they made the movie work or not. In Iron Giant, our main topic was taking risks, Night at the Museum was dialogue padding, and Cowboys and Aliens was genre splicing. Today, we are gonna focus on tone. What is tone?
And you just dump it in there.
Nope, that's toner, but my question is, what is tone? Hello? Yes, okay, that's a dial tone, but okay, you know what? To get a better understanding of tone, we're gonna take a look at a few other films to get an idea of what their tones would be like. We gotta try to understand them right from the beginning, so let's do it. Men in Black. The music with the still shot of the night sky tells me it will have mystery and a dark edge to it. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Oh boy, we're in for one wacky ride. Nightmare on Elm Street. I just might shit myself later. How about all four Jurassic Park films? The first one says this will be an epic adventure, but it may also be scary. The second one doesn't really have a soundtrack at the start, but there are some subtle sound effects and maybe low-key music that give off this feeling of unease. The third one tries setting this terrifying tone before the title is even shown. And similarly, the fourth one tries giving its tone before the title, but replace the terrifying vibe with suspenseful. Now, I might know what you're thinking. Wow, are you really trying to teach us about tone, or are you just trying to see how many companies will third-party claim your video? The trick with tone is it needs to stay consistent through the whole thing. Elm Street, for example, stays scary through the whole thing, but adds a bit of humor throughout. It's not terrifying for the first half, and then innocent and romantic in the second half. So, with that all said, directed by Peter Berg, is Hancock the true superhero we deserve but not the one that we need that was released in 2008? Or did they lose the will to make any more superhero stories? So, since tone is usually gone at the very start of a film, how does this one start off? Alright, a little out of nowhere, but so far, it seems it's going to be very lighthearted and quirky. We're going to be laughing all the way through, and it'll be just a fun time. Let's see if it stays that way. We start off with criminals on a high chase getting away from police. We don't really know what they did, but we just know they're criminals. Along with police should be somebody else going after these criminals, but he needs a bit of a kickstart to get going.
What, boy?
Bad guys?
What, you want a cookie? Get out my face.
Asshole?
What?
You heard me?
Also, remember the term asshole because it's kind of a running joke. And apparently that's all the motivation Hancock needed. Well, that's an interesting choice. If anyone out there is familiar with this rap, which is a very popular one, so I imagine a lot of you are familiar with it, they're leaving out a very key word that the song has. And for some reason, they decided to censor the word out. I don't know, one could make the argument that they don't want a whole bunch of swear words in the movie and they want to try to make it more kid-friendly.
I'll break my foot off in your ass, woman.
Well, I mean, ass isn't that bad of a word.
Well, you should sue McDonald's, because they fucked you up.
Okay, maybe they just don't want to say the word bitch.
I've been drinking, bitch.
God damn it! So he catches up to the criminals, and of course they're a bit stubborn, don't give in, and Hancock has to go to extreme measures to make sure that they don't get away.
I swear to Christ, your head is going up the driver's ass, his head is going up your ass, and you drew the short stick because your head is going up my ass.
After that, we meet Ray, a man who just wants to change the world.
Your new TB drug, Mycodin, we would like for you to give that product away for free.
But that doesn't go well right now. After getting rejected, he drives back home, but for some reason decided to park on a train track. And as we all know, if there is a railroad in a movie, a train eventually has to show up to be a temporary villain.
Mouse, you've read books on trains?
Hey!
What do we do?
Hey! Move it! There's a train coming! Move it! Back your car up! There's a train!
Fix the handle, Ray. Fix the handle.
Ray does get saved, but... And here, I want to talk about why I think this movie can actually be pretty creative. You know how generally speaking a superhero starts off as a regular being or even very weak and over time have to increase their strength? Well here, Hancock is already as strong as he needs to be. He's practically invincible, but he is careless with his powers, and while he does save people and stops criminals, he also inflicts more damage to the city than if he didn't try helping out at all. It'd be like if the Powerpuff Girls were trying to fight Mojo Jojo, who is terrorizing the city again, and in the middle of it, Bubbles just drops a fucking nuke onto Townsville. The intentions were there, but the execution, it could have been handled a little bit differently, you know? So basically, the main goal of the film would be to teach him to limit his powers, which is what Ray wants to do. He sees potential in Hancock, and even though his changing the world plan started in failure, this would be a great first step for him. After Hancock literally gives Ray a lift and literally drops him off at his house, we are introduced to his family, his wife Mary and son Aaron. Aaron's not important to the plot. Like, at all. He has maybe one scene of importance, but it really doesn't lead anywhere, and he's not even in the scene to begin with. It's in regards to a bully he has, it's brought up in one scene and literally resolved in the next. Basically, the bully is this kid that, like, speaks half French, half English, sometimes.
You know who I am?
My papa says you're un seul.
Well, that's not really a nice word to call a person, is it?
A seul?
Yeah, because that could make someone very angry.
Like, he'll speak French, but he'll say certain words in English so the audience can keep up.
Do you know Aaron?
Oui, le petit a seul.
Well, seems to be a pretty good kid. Just want to ask you to lay off him a little bit.
Why, seul?
Call me an asshole. One more time. How about you, Thickness? Goggles?
I had a feeling. I said he heard me, and he's
yeah.
ready for a change. This is
right.
great.
Yeah,
Did you
right.
do this? Did you come in a little hot?
Yeah, I'll meet you in the house.
This is a great place for us to start. I know you don't drive.
Damn it. All right. You're all right. You're all right. You're all right.
Not okay.
He all
Okay?
right. He
Really not okay. This is some of the stuff we're going to work on. How do you think that conversation is going to go down with his mom? Landing like that in the streets, also on the uncool side.
No, that was already like that when I got here, Ray.
And then boom, subplot has ended. We never see Michelle ever again. At least I don't think. If we do, then it's very briefly. And it literally led to nowhere. Wow, I've been saying literally a lot. I'm starting to sound like somebody else. Mary, on the other hand, is important to the plot. For now, I won't say why, but it all stems from the look she gives him. Now, it's very common in the start of the film that really anyone that looks at him give various looks. Like glares or disappointment eyes or whatever. Mary's expression to seeing him and even how she acts around him is more of a worried reaction, and not just cause he's a little bit destructive. Okay, very destructive, but point still remains. Now that those two have been introduced, let's see how Ray tries to start helping Hancock.
Now, everybody loves a nutty buddy. I get it. But this doesn't work, sir.
Hey, give me a
You ever put out an apartment fire, Ray?
No, I haven't done that. I'm in PR.
My ass was hot.
All right. How about this? This is Walter, the gray whale. Everybody remembers him. Stuck on the beach north of Zuma. Along comes Hancock.
I don't even remember that.
Okay, that didn't work, but a little bit later on the news, Hancock is given a message by one of the news anchors that he is not above the law and should technically be taken into custody. This gives the idea to have Hancock turn himself in and serve jail time. It takes a lot of convincing to do, but he eventually gives it a try. However, the first day isn't exactly the most walkness of the park, let's say.
Oh, I get it. I put some, most of you in here. Just wanna go to my cell. Excuse me. You don't move, your head is going up his ass. Y'all fellas sure you want to ride this train? Shoot. Shoot you, asshole.
Did you shove a man's head up another man's ass?
Then we get a short montage of Ray teaching Hancock how to say good job.
Good job.
And him in some sort of therapy circle thing. Pretty sure there's a term for it, but I don't know. Please leave a friendly comment below if there is a single term that describes this. And don't forget to subscribe. After the montage, we get, in my opinion, which I know I can have some very abstract opinions, but a very great example of storytelling through facial expression. Just take a gander. This is a pretty big moment, mainly because he is out of the prison boundaries. He could just fly off at any moment and not do this anymore. He could go back to the life he once had. But the way he turns back and looks at the prison shows that he's trying to mature a little. He knows it would be the right thing to go back. And that he doesn't want to go back to the way he was, of people just hating him all the time and being reckless. It's not easy trying to tell a story through facial expression, but I thought it was pretty well done here.
Say goodbye to Hancock.
Dear Hancock, that's my favorite one. And I want you to have it.
That was pretty sweet.
Thanks, Mom.
Oh, I'll come back to the scene. There's a reason why I showed it. So while Hancock has been in prison, his attitude has changed, but that's not the only thing that will be. The prison gets a call from the chief of police and is actually requesting Hancock's help because there is an armed robbery taking place. However, it'd probably be a little weird if Hancock went to try to save the day in prison attire.
For when they call. I ain't wearing that, Ray.
Yes, you are.
Oh, no, I'm not.
No, you are.
Actually, I'm not, Ray.
I think you're not, but you are.
I will fight crime butt-ass naked before I fight it in that. Don't break the building, don't break the building, don't break the building.
You're probably wondering what I think of the costume, and I think it looks fine. It's not the most creative design in the world, but I do like the colors and that his symbol is an eagle, which, by the way, was also on his beanie. But the costume's not important. Hancock makes it to the bank to confront the leader, only to find out that he has a detonator. If he lets go of the button, everyone in the building will be saying bon voyage, if you know what I mean.
Since we've had a little change of plan between the police showing up and you sucking out all of my associates, I want you to break into the vault. You are gonna get me safely away from here with the money, or else they'll be cleaning up these hostages with a mop.
Really trying to turn over a new leaf.
I will blow up this entire building, you
Asshole. Really don't like that word.
I will blow them sky high and their blood will be on your hands.
Call me an asshole. One more time.
After he Mary saves everyone. Him, Mary, and Ray go out and celebrate. And it's a nice scene as we get some character development.
You didn't come in on like a meteor?
Nope. Woke up in a hospital, first thing I remember. My skull was fractured. They told me I tried to stop a mugging.
Somebody knocked you out.
I guess I was a regular guy before, and when I woke up, I was changed. And then my skull healed in like an hour. And doctors were astounded. And, they wanted to know my story, just like you, but I couldn't tell them. I don't know who I am. Only thing I had in my pocket was bubble gum, 2 movie tickets. I wanted to sign out. The nurse asked me for my John Hancock.
The movie, I gotta say, has been great. We had an introduction to a new and creative take on a superhero. Ray wanted to change the world, got rejected, but did manage to change Hancock's attitude and look on his own life. We had a great amount of comedy, and we had some nice conversation between characters, and Hancock proved his change by saving people from an armed robbery without inflicting any property damage of his own.
Yeah, well, that's what they figured.
But now there's a problem a brewing. And it all starts from how far we're into this movie so far. We're about 55 minutes to an hour in. Excluding credits, this movie's an hour and 35 minutes long. So we have about another half hour of space to fill in. What do? Make the movie as convoluted as possible.
If Ray finds out about me, you're dead.
Yep, Mary is a supernatural being just like Hancock. And as a side note, you may be wondering, shouldn't Aaron sort of have powers too?
I was married once before. First wife, she died giving birth to Aaron.
Mary's his stepmom. So at the very least, that has a very reasonable explanation. And I'm not gonna lie, cool things do happen. There will still be humor, though not as much as there was.
Now, and that's still in
Hang on one.
And there is a twist that is really unique. But unfortunately, this half hour of the film will feel like a Hancock sequel that is completely rushed. Remember the T-Rex in San Diego scene from Lost World? Similar situation. It's completely different from how the rest of the film was. It feels rushed, and it feels like a mini sequel. But basically, all this last half hour of the film will be is exposition. It'll result in a show don't tell scenario. So yeah, this is why Mary's expressions and attitude around Hancock was so different. Cause they are part of the same species. Now that's not the only reason why, but more on that at another time. You may be wondering what their species is called, but even the writers didn't know what to call them.
Who are we?
Gods, angels. Different cultures call us by different names. Now all of a sudden it's superhero.
Folks, this is what I like to call a film excuse. If something seems challenging to explain, or you can't write anything definite about something, just use simplified, lazy excuses as to why you can't explain it. What are these creatures doing here? Gold. Why? It's rare. Why are these exhibits coming to life at night? Tablet. Well, then how come it can affect the other night guards, but then it doesn't affect me?
Stop babbling, boy!
Hey, Roland, why do you want to catch a male T-Rex specifically? Yes. No, why do you want to catch... Yep. See, but the opposite can happen too. Explaining something too much that doesn't necessarily require it can also result in film excuses. What are those? Sensors that go up in a tornado. What do? They go up the funnel and radio back information. What do you plan on doing with all that information? We'll be designing an advanced warning system. How'd you get it in the tornado? Ha! YOLO, bitch! Is there an F5? Yeah, okay, this is not gonna work out. Like, seriously. Don't even know what an F5 is? Now, am I saying these never work in movies? No. Joker's backstory is vague to practically being non-existent, but it works in Dark Knight because of Heath Ledger's acting, and it makes the character so much more interesting. Giving him a legit detailed backstory could have us sympathizing with him, and he'd start to lose that edge that he has. Jurassic Park's video on the dinosaur creation process is very detailed on how they did it, but when it comes to science, you need to be specific on every detail. Even the slightest ounce over on a chemical you're working on can lead to hazardous results. But in regards to the movie, imagine if the conversation went like this.
They're moving in herds. They do move in herds. How'd you do this?
Science. Alright, how about that tour? I don't know about you all, but I would be so triggered. But actually getting back to Hancock, the film excuses do not work here. In fact, they will be backwards. This last half hour is supposed to be an origin story, but their species, their planet or wherever they're from, their lifestyle, all kept vague. But Hancock's scars, the bubblegum, the movie tickets, they get explained.
Who are we to each other?
We're brother and sister.
That's a lie.
You're lying. Deal's off. Let's go see how Ray feels about this.
Get your